All right. Hey, greetings and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Laughing Lamps Salty Coat conversation session number 23. Let's get started with a double dose this week. Enjoy the sadness.
Something else to say. No excuses what it's like. Life is so strange. Every night the sleep right away. Yearning for a chance. I close my eyes. One stare at a time. Loneliness, my only friend. Taking on away from here. Standing frozen behind my fear. I look straight into your eyes, like when I believed you once. No one to blame but you. Goodness takes you. No one to hold. No one carried this burden for me. No one there. Just me and my head. Thinking of far away from here. Standing frozen behind my Every day I'm on this day. Behind this walls of lies, suicides, I still afraid. All clouds down in crimson red. The pain is growing inside. I know I still feel cold. Yearning for a lost and quiet taste. Yearning for your light in this time of sorrow. From cradle to grave, I'm counting the days. I reach the hand of hope. Every time I feel hollow. With myself, I'm growing pain. Finally sealing the scars on my face. Oh, for anything, my glory is nothing. With myself, I'm growing pain. Finally sealing the scars on my face. Oh, for anything, my glory is with myself, I'm growing pain. Finally seeing the scars on my face. Oh, for anything, my glory is nothing. With myself, I'm growing pain. Finally seeing the scars on my face. Oh, for anything, my glory is nothing.
That's about good enough, right? Yes, we've had enough. Please stop. مرحبا وكيفكم؟ بدنا نحكي شوية عربي اليوم مشان تاتا لطيفة، جدي إبراهيم، جدي فؤاد، وستي وداد. إذا تفهموا كويس، إذا ما فهمتوا you should have learned some Arabic. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Laughing Lamps Salty Coat Conversation Session number 23. With me, your host, Jin of the Lamp, your inner fear. Yes! And welcome. Welcome. How come nobody celebrated with me on my Russian Orthodoxy Christmas? Where was the unity? I'm just messing around. I am just messing around. I'm not one for holidays personally. I don't really even celebrate birthdays to a degree because I believe the meaning of those days, the magic of those days, have disappeared or dwindled into a whole different get up setup of a meaning. But that is just my own personal belief and outlook of what I've seen, what I see. Plus, being in the military, you kind of miss out and we forget every now and then. People make a big deal out of it there too, I guess, just to take a free day off. I'll tell you what, they used to say, Navy, Navy, never again volunteer yourself. And I always knew that to be wrong. You see, I used to think the same thing as the saying, exactly, never again volunteer yourself. But then I realized the things that I was volunteering for got me out of going into work the next day. Or I was allowed to come in a bit later than usual, a couple hours. So, okay, I enjoyed volunteering myself because it got me out of stuff. Or it gave me a delayed start to things. And if you're not happy with things, here's an example. You'll know if I'm not happy somewhere. And it's not because of the food I ate. No, I gotta take a shit, motherfucker. Welcome to the language. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start off with something I find, well, all my posts I think this week are very, very interesting. It's all a game. Are we ready for the game? Are we ready to play the game of the Laughing Lamps 5-day post this specific week? Let's get started on the game. Let's play. It takes one to know one. Think about it for a second. It takes one to know one. Okay. We are all one. Okay. The molding, okay. One don't know shit. Hence why we usually go for a friend or a sibling or mom and dad or a parent or a guardian or a teacher or somebody we trust to get a confirmation of a thought, to gain a knowledge on it. 1 + 1 will always equal 2. What kind of a 2 do you see? Well, Habibi, do you have selective attention or deficient attention? Well, let's play. How many times have you gotten into an argument with a partner of yours or a good friend of yours and you tell them, you only pay attention, it seems, when I mention this specific thing? Some people attracted to sex, violent language, an act of gossip, something in selection where they put their deficiency of the attention on everything else. A wall of I don't give a fuck. That penetrated. I will listen to that. Even if it is stupid and you only used the key to get through. The point was to get through to you, the attention deficient motherfucker in the first place. Is it not? Right. Don't get me started on simple things to a certain degree. But anyway, it takes one, though, to know one. How do you know? Because you used to be one, and you grew and you learned as a little one, and whatever, up until the point that you are. And you will share what you think you need to share to those down there on the bottom of the tree again. A root, a seed, a tree. Yes, an interesting tree of life, circle of life, infinite loop of disastrous life. To each their own. at the end of the day, always will be to each their own, because the laughing lamp is my own. It's how I see things. It's an interesting way that I was able to overthink and understand certain things in this life for me. I normalized for me a chaos that was once. But to each their own. But it does take one, I believe, and it's a saying we also use, to know one. So in essence, we go back to the old thought process of, you thought about my wife is just as bad as the sin. You participated in the fixing of, and it killed, and you are a murderer one way or another, 17,000th degree. Right? So if we can, when necessary, when in our own personal selective argument, choose selective information pieces for our favorable side, usually it takes one to know one. Been there? Thought of it before? Had a thought a friend confirmed because you still have yet to go through personally? Perhaps you went through personally. But it took one to know one. We all think like a one. We taboo a lot of stuff. Hush, hush. It ain't meant to be. It's not worth talking about. Okay. Takes one to know one. Selective attention, deficient attention. And as we get older, we learn to put away a whole bunch of subjects. Keywords, keywords, key terms, key, lots of keys. We tend to toss away a lot of keys in communication so that our attention, well, it either thins or the wall thickens. But I just used two opposite words to describe a similar aspect. A thin line or a thick barrier. Easy to cross yet hard to penetrate. Boy, if only it was just like that rhyme. No, not grapes. Don't care about wine. You'll get it if you get it. If you know me, not think how I would be. But anyway, an interesting concept of it takes one to know one. Something I may have said in quite a few videos even in the past before, based off of what I'm doing with Kiddo and stuff. Well, I tell her this a lot. I used to be one, Kiddo. So I kind of know what you're thinking, how you're trying to sneak, how you want a word for your favorable food. It took one to know one, and while we were one, we thought like one, and to this day, some of us are stuck like one, because it's the only way we knew how to gain an addition to our lives. Food addition, drink addition, drug addiction, addiction. I don't know. You ADD are deficiently selecting selective deficiencies in order to gain attention in a favorable manner. But whatever. Keep describing yourselves as such things and end up being prescribed certain things in order to get through your lives and lie in secrecy of this underworld that we live in, where everybody has probably either been secretly doused because they earned somebody's trust or potential favor that night at the bar or at the movies or wherever we go. But that's a secret underworld, Hollywood-style world. Stop talking like a conspiracy, Jen. No. When you see something, you say something. Again, add up the videos. Then think about your own personal experiences in life. Then think about somebody's shared experiences in life. 1 plus 1 equals some kind of reality there. Okay. Let's move on to the next post. The next post is fairly interesting because it starts to break down certain word plays and word difficulties of understandings and overthinkings and uppity. Like I said in another post, my own kind of a language. We'll get there. We will get there. So, no sharks for this game. Gamers already understood that the proper way. There is no game shark, no cheat codes. That's what a shark for a game is. A game shark we used to have back in the day to install illegitimate cheat codes into the video game to benefit our favorable play. Interesting a wordplay to describe. Now, other people who understood the word terminology of a shark could see whatever they want to see in the human world of a fish that we all swim in, waiting to be dangled up by an angler somewhere. Or are you the angler or plenty of fishing in the sea? I don't know. Keep fucking around. Ha! Literally. Multiply fruitfully, right? Plenty of fish in the sea. Okay. No sharks for this game. So, who was the other definition besides the gamer talk of a game shark? A loan shark. Oh, those assholes. Here's a story of a person who had an idea for a business, a shipping and receiving type of business to start. A guy leads him to a building where people would be able to loan him such money. Sharks, right? Yeah. Then they made a deal. We'll give you the money on one condition. Yes, you have to pay us back, but you're going to pay us back in this sense. We're going to send over a driver, whenever it may be. No questions asked. He gets a truck, and that's it. Okay. Fast forward 20 years into the business, successful business. His son takes over the business with his own college creation of an idea. And he says, I want to buy out of this deal. I know we still owe you some money. We have it. Here you go. They said, no. Actually, you have honored us in your deal. Ah, twist to the story. I know. This comes from an interesting source. Wink, wink, wink. Excuse me, what was the deal? No questions asked. We sent the driver when we needed to, and you did as we asked. No questions asked. Took a truck. Lolly-da-di-da. You paid your debts. You're free to go. That's a degree of release. See, when you catch a fish and you release a fish, you don't typically catch the same fish again. It doesn't really work that way. And you don't always have a hold on that fish. You see, those kinds of sharks will always have a hold, no matter what they say. And so the world spins. Hey, it's one little aspect. So no sharks for this game. Pepper is an herb, right? Salt is a rock, right? Crack the code life needs. I have another post about heads, but it would have been an interesting relation to this one. What kind of a head are you? We'll get to that. I will mix it into it, I suppose, when I get to that post. But for now, let's just go along with the flow of the ideological drama that I have attempted to establish. He's good. He's good. Okay. Let's crack the code. Now, before I say this next part, I want to bring you guys back a little bit to about 6th grade or 7th grade. Clifton Middle School is the memory I have, and I think it was English or history class. I had like 4 or 5 classes that were literally across the hall from each other with the same goddamn teachers. Yeah, that was middle school. Christopher Columbus Middle School in Clifton. Thomas Jefferson High School, Middle School in Garfield. But we're in Clifton. Christopher Columbus, the fucking Spanish prick Italian motherfuckers. And they put a word on the board. And I had played video games. Where this knowledge came from, by the way, comes from a game called Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation, the original. And they put a word on the board. Colonel. And they said, can anybody read this word? I immediately raised my hand. And I got attention. I was a known kid in Clifton. And I got attention. And I said, go ahead, Bobby. My nickname in school, Bobby. Story for another time. As of now, it's Jin. So go ahead, Jin. That word is colonel. Oh, that's good. Did anybody else figure that out? Maybe 2 other kids finally raised their hand in admittance that they did know the word, but maybe they were afraid of being the attentive one for that situation. You see the behavioral studying some of the bad kids in the class will do. Will anybody else raise their hand? I do know the answer, but should I raise it in competition of? That way there's a chance they don't call my name. You see, I used to think that way. Takes one to know one. Or do I just keep my hand down because I don't want to be the only hand up? Well, I didn't care, but I took one to know one. I raised my hand. I like attention. I love it. Give it to me. Smother it to me, and okay. return the favor appropriately. I'll retreat you the way you treat me because I don't know how you want to be treated. Hey, okay. And the word was Colonel. And I said, how'd you figure that out? And I told them the Metal Gear Solid story. And everybody else actually tried to pronounce it as Colonel, 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 Colonel. Huh? When you make the sounds and the word isn't there, perhaps it's not the correct word. But let's continue. I don't know if I should say this incorrectly or correctly or what you assume to be correct, So I'm going to say it my way. Stephen's. I know. Stevens. Stevens. Stephens. Stefan. That depends on how you learn the combination of PH sounds of a combination of letters that we learn. But okay. What sounds do I use? Colonel Stephens? Colonel. Where's the R? Where the fuck is that goddamn sound? And what combination of letters were we ever taught that there is a sound when you put these things together? Right. Overthinking something, but I understood it. Dear Colonel Stevens. Now I said step hens, because if you understand secret crack code talk, crack the code. If you understood cracking the code of speech patterns, what a step hen was a married in chicken baby. You get it? They gave away. I give you a chicken for what a chicken was related to a human life. Okay, we don't understand the secret talk, but we watch movies and filmographies where it turns into now a fantasy of possibility, when in actuality it is historical reality being entertained. Okay, dear Colonel Stevens, what sounds do I use, Colonel Stephen? You get it now? Crack the code. I apologize for nothing. I am sorry for nothing. I am nothing to most of you out there. What a circle of infinity. Oh, that was pretty bad, huh? What a circle of infinity. That's a little bit better. Looping under and over and under and over again. Do you see the bridge over the road, or did you see the road under the bridge? And who's to say this was the one going under, not over, and under and over? Well, don't overthink it. You'll understand if you just see it our way. Okay, I'd rather build on that. You get it? All right. I'll mind you without love you. Mind and body, heart and soul. I'll have the mind for you, or the tolerance for your company, but I won't feel much for you. Maybe I feel so much for you, but I can't mind your company. Well, then again, I'm just retreating you to how you retreat me. In both and many and infinite aspects, I am always retreating what I am being treated. And if I knew how you like to be treated, then I'm treating you in a way that I'd like to alter, because I can now change the knowledge of that into a favorable encounter. Well, I'll mind you without love you. It's water under the bridge for going over my head. More head talk we'll talk about. Those of you who've made interesting successes in your lives, especially talking about being water under a bridge. Well, it ain't water under a bridge. That is that nobody went over nobody's head. But we'll keep playing with those word plays, especially in our hierarchies and professional standings at work. You went over my head, didn't you? Oh, it's okay. Do me a favor and we'll make it water under the bridge. That's just a public favor. Now imagine the hi mommy, hi daddy, hi uncle, hi auntie, hi family friend. I guess we overthought without understanding, and our bird eye views are opposing figures. 6, 8, 9, sometimes a 0. Calculate it. No PEMDAS necessary. Literally, take out a calculator right now and type in those 4 numbers in that order, because you just need those numbers to show, just so I can show you. And they purposefully blockicize. The letters are in block format with sectional, because of the way the calculator is typically devised. Now I'm talking about a calculator, not a phone or the upgraded text messages. You see, I'm studying an old text, and I need to understand and grasp the meaning of an old text. The old text used the verbiage and writings in specific way. Well, the old calculators and calculators to this day, an actual calculator, see what is my phone is an actual calculator. You get what I mean? Old school, I guess. An old school fashion handheld motherfucking mathematical graphing calculator, scientific notation type of shit. You get it? Now, okay. And put in those numbers and blockicized effect that they come in. Look at the 6. Look at the 8. Look at the 9. Look at the 0. 6 and 9 are exactly the same. They're missing one section off of each other to make one a 6, to make one a 9. Right. The 0 and the 8 are pretty much the same, with a little line that cuts them off to turn it into an 8. Delete that line, it's a 0. That's just a calculated image. Calculated. 1 plus 1 equals a calculation of 2. A calculated image, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, of numbers, an understanding of those figures to represent a number, even though we are learning it in a penmanship style. But the similarity of the shape with it, okay, you see how technology and humanity can now intertwine and mingle? Our visual expressions of what we used to write down as and what we get interpreted as on this computer monitor are not the way we write in life, is it? No, but it is English in this. Okay, but it's a penmanship difference, if you want to call it anything. Overthinking without understanding. Okay, in our bird eye view. So when you back out of that bridge again, when you're high enough and you sit perhaps at a specific angle, maybe the sun hits you at a specific spot, or a shadow hits over that specific area, makes your eyes, oops, the illusion. Well, that road, I understand it's a loop-de-loop, but maybe it's not a loop-de-loop. Maybe it's only a road that goes under. I see the bridge that goes over, and I see the road that goes up. Now, what if it's a different type of pattern? Now, if you're looking at it at one angle, is it a 6? Turn the calculator upside down. That 6 just became a 9, and that 9 just became a 6. Oh, and the numbers are changed. Or interesting. Perspective may require another mind's potential solution to the alternative mental perspective that I had. Okay, but just wordplay. General and generic 1 plus 1 equality, if you ask me. It must be the 2. Perhaps just us 2. You 2? To hell with you 2. You 2? The new edition? Was there ever a new edition? Another 2 edition? The wordplay. Oh, you don't know. Maybe I should go to Matthew and Luke and everybody else. See what the fuck they may have meant. I love to shit on you guys. 11 to 11, 2, 2. 8, 6, 89. 55 minus 22 equals 33. Oh, dear family. Who am I? Well, he is our 0, or it is our 0. Well, 33. I don't know. Just a man of numbers. I used 55 in my own way, which is going very well for me, by the way. If you guys take the challenge, if you even care for the challenge, if you even see it as a challenge worthwhile being a challenge, well, go back and watch that video to figure out the challenge if you're still interested in the concept. If you're not, I get it. Trust me, I understand, because I overthought the situation. Next post, ladies and gentlemen. True. I am breeding. Wallah. I have a lisp. Pardon me. I am breathing. I'm breathing. Perhaps I am breathing. Are you breathing through life? No, I'm not breathing. I'm breathing. Oh, breathing? You're breathing. Oh, I understand. That's kind of... See, I had French intertwined family relatives, and they spoke with more of a French English accent, with all respect to the Arabic that they also knew. But there's a lot of French in it. So I got to hear breathing and things like this very much in my upbringing. So I'm breathing. Let's add H. You hyperactive heroin addict. Well, now you're overthinking and understanding. You don't understand. You overthought. Okay. ADHD. Is that TV? Definition of the highest degree? Reality fantasy documentary based on autobiography biography. I don't know. AFK BRB. I don't know. Away from keyboard. Be right back. But the rhyme ain't there if you don't BRB. So if you guys can understand a small concept of using your own specific argument in a deficient fucking if you understand little roots and vegetables, see, and seedlings of gossip and talk and bullshittery and other chicanery of life, and you can scientifically attack the meaning of somebody's understanding, and you can religiously attack somebody's understanding of meaning, then how come in a scientific and religious aspect you can't see that as you sweat throughout your day, in a hot day, something like that, physical activity, running, training, exercising, why won't you believe that the water with the salt, just like the salt water of the ocean, gets evaporated? Now, what sweats through your pores before you kick it up? Before you kick it up with pale skin color and shit like that, and other powders. Everything that's inside your blood and your sweat, all right? What's inside you? You worry about the plane spraying chemical shit in the air and you potentially breathing it in, or it landing in our crops and stuff like that. And I worry about the shit you're taking within your cells, a pill fashion, a shot fashion, and you sweat it out for release to the public to breathe. But that's just a small concept of an argument that I look forward to somebody challenging. Detoxing rain condensating from your chemical pores. Is that too small an idea? The crater face bird shit cake you that you cake on the cracks you create. Oh, but we only use that crater face argument when we're only talking about somebody who has an attitude and obviously looks like they forgot to cover up their pills. Pain pills, most medications actually, if you notice that on anybody, tend to create what's known as crater face, or indentations of scar-like features on your skin in general. And that wasn't a knife wound, that wasn't a physical injury. That's your skin. Skin cancer, you guys want to fight the sun, the most natural thing in the world. Okay, well, I understand the science behind the sun too, but crater face is not given by the sun, and okay, and you cover up that crater face, don't you? Quite often. And how come some of y'all getting crater face in your 20s? Same reason most likely y'all went bald in your 20s. You have more to make up for than the apology you show for all that have to stare at your mask. Is that the same one I'm waking up to in the morning? It's a joke. It used to be a joke. It's more like reality now. Or is there more permanent stick-on type shit? I don't know. I like to know the actual face of the beast I'm with. No matter how scary she is, or he is, or they are, or it is. Oh, shit. Global sweating is more like it. And that goes back to the Jin's conspiracy theory of global warming being humans huddling, human heat that created the human meltdown of perhaps the original warm-blooded beings is the idea. And so you can say that the car idling creates so much toxic fumes and things like that. I think I've seen and heard that argument quite often. And at the end of the day, I say to myself, yeah, everything is creating a fume, technically speaking. And 6,000 EDM concert goers that are taking Molly that night are fuming up a bunch of chemical amphetamines and other endorphins throughout the night. Animals can smell and see that, right? We are animals and mammals. I know you can smell and see it too, to your own senses of degree understanding. A sixth sense that you know of, a temptation that you enjoy that may entice you or that you revolt against. Okay. Okay. No sharks for this game. No sharks. Like I said, next post. I created my own language, this imaginary djinn of the lamp, inner fear of yours. I created my own language, just like you and your siblings may have. Just like you and your siblings may have had. And I called it the understanding of overthinking. Why? Why did I even come up with such a... How did you even manage? Why would you even think of? That's not even... When some people tell you all your life, you're very good, you should be a lawyer. You're very good, you should potentially be. Kiddo, you should try doing this. So you're getting molded into where they see your pattern of behavior being best suited for through their own personal view of experiences in life for themselves. Be careful, because uncle and auntie have different views on life, even though they're married. Mommy and daddy have different views on life, even though they're married. And they're raising you. Okay, to a degree of normalized understanding. I understand some of you are in chaos. So people tell you what you're good at, or they tell you what you do a lot, which is something that you are good at. You draw a lot. You're always drawing, man. Always have a sketch pad on you. You're always writing things down. You're a poet, man. You write screenplays and scripts. What are you doing, man? What have I been told? You, I think too much. I overthink everything. Yeah, so I guess I'm good at it. So I created my own language on overthinking. And I understood my own overthinking. Hence, I haven't hurt myself, killed myself, antagonized myself, pushed myself past boundaries of what the fuck chaos. And I don't really, I don't know. So I say, I guess I understand the overthinking. Okay. Well, what's in your head? Plenty is in my head. Plenty, plenty, plenty. What kind of a head are you? Pothead, meth head, crackhead, pill popper, smart ass, dumbass. What kind of a head are you? Head of genealogical, head of financial, head of cemetery, head of go. So, what head do you give? Go ahead. Explain yourself for going over my head. Well, water under the bridge. I know. A reality you guys don't want to admit to. And it's okay. I have plenty of people out here. The problem is we're all written off in society. Documented as. We fit the description of. We are now described as. So we've already been judged. What head do you give? I give heads up, but let's have fun. Flames tend to crackle. That's for you crackheads out there. Are we paying attention? Are we listening to all those pipes your kids put in your mouth? Flames crackle when something burns, gets lit. We getting lit tonight, crackhead. Yeah, you burning now. If you take words into a whole different understanding, okay. If you, that's a whole bunch of if yous. Yeah, but when somebody breaks a barrier of understanding for you, it's kind of hard to see things when that word and that phrase, now you have to judge that word and phrase, judge it based off of the judgment you make on another person's character and how you think that they may be associating that word as. So when we freely just use regular basic commonology words, the best way to combat that in secrecy is to find a way to slip in through the commonality words the secrets. Only when you're too high did you pay attention and end up thinking that you needed therapy or psychiatry because somebody said, dude, you're overthinking. But it's a reality. Now you're going to fantasize. Walk straight to where the dirt road, it's a saying, I guess, down south, and where the sidewalk ends. There's a book probably some of us may have read in our libraries in elementary schools, or wherever you guys have been educated, in private, Catholic, public, whatever. A final solution. Some of you would know where that lyric mixes into play from Soil Work. Yeah. Happy trails and yippee-ki-yay. Or is that some kind of sorority fraternity house? Well, Delta Tau Delta. That one is a real one. It's a real frat house, one that her father used to be a part of. Like I said, late father, excuse me, with all due respect. Late father. Research it yourselves, because all I'll do is dig into conspiracy. Why don't you just research it yourselves? Figure out that purple flower meaning on your own. Figure out the color scheme they decided to use on their own. Figure out their excellence of view on your own. See, I know the character that came from, and their view of excellence is a secret sickness that you guys ignore. Okay. I'll get into depth eventually on that kind of a family history and where I get some of my craziness thoughts from. This is a sliver, just a sliver. I have plenty of thoughts that come from other experiences in life. I've only had about 2 or 3 years down here meeting weird fucking people, yeah. But do you know who else I've judged to be the same kind of a weird elsewheres? Yeah. Okay, you see that experience that I personally have, being on board in the Navy, seeing the world, having a vacation to the Middle East and seeing them, places that I have been in the United States and meeting and greeting people from other places in the United States as well, most of them having a unified speech of their home, but a differentiating speech on their lives. Selective or deficient? Where did you pay attention? He couldn't afford? Okay, you see how we play with jokes now, but you paid attention to that, you selective deficient fuck. Next post. Merry Christian Mass. Oh, for the Orthodox. Not all the Orthodox, not all of them. No. The Russian Orthodoxes. Well, Antiochs. Where's the unity again? 13-day separation, segregation between Julian and Gregory. You Catholic fuck. Get out of here, you Catholic son of a bitch. Bebo the Cat. Research it. Watch it. Episodes 1 through 7, maybe. That's all they have. Little snippets of little shit fact fucking videos. Cartoony as hell. Retarded as hell. Enjoy. Remember today. Remember yesterday. Good for you. Bad for you. Good on you. Bad on you. Depends on the memory that we're talking about. Did you remember? Did you not? Do you remember today? Did you not? Do you remember yesterday? Did you not? Do you remember two? Don't forget two. We'll get there. We'll get there. Well, what a shame. For or on you? I don't know. You're confusing me. Well, let's fix that camera. I don't know. You're confusing me. Yeah. Well, don't forget to. Now, that slash in the numerical 2 value of it is for you texting millennial fuckheads, because we use that number 2 to represent many different variety of definition of 2 because we shorthand it, right? Xmas-y motherfuckers. I get it. It's been X'd out. I understand. You need to shorten things in your life. So when I explain something shortened, you still don't understand. It requires a lengthy explanation. When I give you the lengthy explanation, you find a way to shorten it for yourself. Chaotic information that you normalized for yourself, because the normal information that I gave you was too chaotic for you. Because it was my normal information that I normalized for myself, which used to be chaos at one point, that I also found a way to. Each one of us to each their own information in this life. I did that on purpose too. You see, I have 9 cats to deal with, and that sound lets them understand that they're on the table they're not supposed to, or they're somewhere they're not supposed to, and they all look and usually scatter when you walk towards one or a group of, depending where they're at. My snakes also make that sound. My rats make those sounds. We humans do it to each other to tell each other to shut the fuck up. You understand? Okay. But that's a cat too, as well. That's a cat as well. Or does it need the H? Heroine? No. Hiss. Oh, that's a snake. That's only a snake. Heroin head, ADD fuckhead, methamphetamine using, opioid popping. Ups and downs. I need the H to understand in the conversation that you meant a hissy of a snaky fitty. A snake fit, a hissy fit, a hissy fit, a hissy fit, a speaking argument, a hissy fit, a snake fight. Okay, maybe that's just me. I guess it's not the cat or the, okay. That's only snaky. Did you mean... You see, I do that to the cats too, and yes, they understand that one a little more than a hiss or a ss. They are afraid of the khe. Must be an Egyptian thing with the sphinxes and the cats that they idolized and the dogs that they were afraid of. But to each their own. They feared, to a degree, the evil side. You mean khikh? Well, that's Arabic. Perhaps a Hebrew. Fucking Jews. Definitely Egyptian. Maybe Persian? I don't know. To each their own. You figure it out. You get your confirmations. Just don't overthink it. Try to understand it. Without an understanding, line in them. I think. I under. When I over. It's okay. We spin our webs. Good and bads. We all do. It takes one to know one. You are one, but you don't know shit. And everybody else is doing the same thing with their own upbringing, etiquette, way of doing it. It's the act of life that I've been claiming, hinting about all this time. And then when you catch them off act, you realize that they can't deal with this right now. That's because they're out of character. They don't know how to deal with being caught off balance, caught off guard, forgot to put up a wall, didn't have one for that one. You know how to break my barriers, Jin. Let's have a conversation. Like the rest of my clients that have allowed this lamp to stay amped, lit, whatever fucking definition you'd like to use. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me tonight on this session of the Laughing Lamps Salty Coat Conversation Session number 23. Go, Michael Jordan! I am 32 on today's 23rd episode. Hi, coincidences that I created. I was your host, the Jinn of the Lamp, your interfere. Take care, stay well, and stay safe.